And it's great to have a plan. I'm glad that we're back here on the show again, showing people how they can learn at any age how to invest themselves and to be able to take some of the guesswork out of the stock market and learn some simple tips and tricks by employing this method of AIM investing, which we've been talking about on the show. So I'm real excited that this week we're going to talk about why do it, why invest on your own, and what are some of the benefits of that. So we're going to start with the first one. So how do we make higher profits by investing on our own? Jeff, what
Okay.
can you tell us about that?
We make higher profits with AIM because we don't go with the traditional investments that, registered financial advisors tell you about, which are normally stocks or mutual funds. What I have found that works much better than stocks is the leaps on a stock. And all a leaps is an option that's long term. Right now, we're investing in January 2028 options, which are still going to be open for 2 years and 3 months or so. They don't expire till January 21st, 2028. Now, why are they better? Two distinctive reasons that give you, it's like adding a turbocharger to your investment. First of all options have what is called leverage. What does that mean? That means the price of an option is normally about 1/4 or lower than the price of the stock. So let's say a stock was selling at $200. That option would be selling for probably $50 or less. So you can buy more with the same amount of money. And the other big reason is volatility. If a stock goes up 2%, the option is very likely to go up 4 or 5 times higher and say 10% for that day. So you get many more buys and sells. Plus, AIM is a contrary way to invest. What does that mean? That means you're always buying at lower prices and selling at higher prices. That's very important. You can't make a profit unless you sell something for a higher price than you paid for it. And AIM will give you many, many sells. I've tested this method of investing for over 30 years, the last 20 of which I discovered leaps, the long-term options. And the good thing is leaps are only issued on the more successful stocks. So all the household names like Apple, AMD, Advanced Micro, Tesla, Google, those are the ones that have leaps. And I stick to the cream of the crop of the leaps, because right now there's about 450 leaps out there. I only like about 180 of them that I would consider telling you. And one of the great benefits of leaps is if your stock is a leap, it's like the investing industry considers it an all-star. They consider it to be better than the average stock. So roughly out of 6,600 stocks that trade, only about 180 are the ones I deem fit to use. Now, another amazing investment came along that's perfect for people with smaller accounts. Say you only have 10,000 or 20,000 to invest. That's plenty. You don't need millions. If you have it, I can help you, but you don't need it. So what I can help you with is this. A new investment came out from the company that pioneered leveraged ETFs. An ETF is an electronically traded fund that looks and acts like a mutual fund, but is far better than a mutual fund because it trades on the stock market, has much better high and low differences. And give you an idea, some of the leveraged ETFs I'm looking at, for example, let's take Tesla. If you wanted to buy a share of Tesla stock, it might be $350. You can buy a share of the one share of the ETF on Tesla, symbol is TSLL, for about $20. And in the last year, the Tesla ETF has had a low of $6.95 and a high of $41. I love investments where the high and low difference over the course of a year is at least 100%. And here you got one that's 400 or 500%. So this is why they work. And the beauty of AIM is simple. You always set up a spreadsheet, and I'd be glad to explain that to anybody who wants to know more about it. And the latest creation in my empire of products to help you be a great investor, I publish a weekly and monthly list of LEAPs and leveraged ETFs showing you what the best ones are to buy. And I'll be happy to give you a sample of that. Okay, back to the subject here. So I know that AIM can make you money quickly. This is the perfect way to invest for people who are starting later in life for whatever reason, because we all know that many businesses don't pay you an adequate salary to live your life and put away money, a lot of money for future retirement. So you might be starting later in life with a lot less money than you wish. Well, due to the wonder of compounding, which means you take old profits and reinvest them into new investments, you can make up the difference of many years you weren't able to invest very quickly. If you can encounter AIM with a really bullish market like we've had for the last, since April, roughly has been very bullish. And I would say, my friend Chris, I have another way of investing called hybrid AIM. I would be glad to explain to you if you have a little bit more money to invest, because it works the best with that. But basically all hybrid AIM is he might buy something for $30 a contract or an option. So it's $3,000 a contract. Well, after he bought it at 30, it dips down to 20, and he maybe makes a buy at 20, we'll say. Well, what we have found many times is the stock immediately goes up, which means the LEAP immediately goes up, or the leveraged ETF immediately goes up. And we can turn around, and a week later, it's gone back to 30 from 20. You'll find if you look on Yahoo Finance and you look at the individual charts for specific AIM options, you will see an incredible up and down dips. And I'd be glad to talk with you about that if you have any questions on that, and show you how to use them for your benefit. I discovered a way to invest that was so good, I had to share it with the world. And so far, sitting literally where I am at my old computer, I have helped people make over $15 million. And they're mostly smaller investors. I do have one big time investor who's grown from 700,000 in April to 2,500,000 today. And mainly because he's big enough. He's the guy who buys 15 contracts and lays out $200,000 to buy 15 contracts with 50% cash. And then we sell them 2 weeks later after he bought them for 200,000. We sell them for 220,000. So I can help all investors, big and small. Don't let anybody tell you you have too little money to invest. That's a myth. You need to do the right way of investing to get ahead. You're never going to get ahead with mutual funds or stocks long term because
And there's some scams that people need to look out for. There's a lot of people out there
oh yeah.
telling people to go this way and that way. What are some things
And
people
see,
should
that's another
avoid?
good reason to use AIM because AIM is not a scam. It's a legitimate way of investing, and I can prove that to you. I'll give you my story on how I thought I should have been scammed. When I was in my 20s, I didn't know much about investing. I got a cold call in the mail from a guy who said, Jeff, the way to invest is to buy silver futures. I go, I don't know anything about silver. And so he says, well, if you send me $1,100, you get a leverage of, you only have to put up 10% of the value of your silver, and you will make a very good profit very quickly. Wire me the money immediately. All the telltale signs of a scam. Well, I sent him the money because he made it seem so urgent. Well, lucky for me, he was an honest guy. Now he charged me like $1,000 for commissions when I bought and sold. But get this, he called me back a week after I spent the 1,000 and said, your silver future has gone from 7,000 to 8 to 10,000. I want you to sell it all right now and you have $1,000 profit. So even after paying that outrageous commissions, I made $1,000 profit on something where I should have lost every nickel because I didn't know any better. And that's what
Right.
happens to a lot of people. If you don't have a good, confident way to invest, you're going to be, you need to invest. And so do scammers know that. So they can call hundreds of people a day and just get 4 or 5 into their investment, and then they take full advantage of you. There's a scam called pump and dump where a lot of scammy people will buy a lot of stock on some obscure company, which causes the price to go way up. Then they're offering you to buy it. And then when you buy it, they all sell theirs and it drops again and you lose your money. So
Wow.
this is a way where you never get scammed because I never touch your money. I talk with you and we set up an account. You open a stock account with a broker, a stockbroker. He has your money and you can trust him completely. E-Trade, Fidelity, those kind of people have never cheated anybody out of anything. There are some other brokers that have, unfortunately. So you never want to, do that. And another trick to avoid scams is do not do any trading on obscure Canadian stock exchanges. A lot of American companies and Canadian companies open accounts there, and it's a little worrisome. I had a personal experience with a guy I know who was a car dealer, and he told me his brother owned a mine somewhere. They had never even dug into the earth to check on the mine, and yet he's had a big company and he had several $1,000,000 in stock sold on that mine that had never even been developed. I couldn't
Wow.
understand why anybody would buy something like that.
Mhm.
But they're out there. These scammers are very convincing. So you need to have a rock solid way to invest, and AIM is that rock solid way. And anybody who writes me or calls me, I will send you my book on AIM investing for free. I will send you the latest 2 LEAPS lists and leveraged ETF lists to show you what I want you to consider buying. And I will send you my newsletter, which will show you why you should be buying. And anybody who subscribes with me for AIM management, if you have a portfolio less than 100,000, great, let's get started. I would only charge you $1,500 a year for that portfolio. That's just like very few dollars out of pocket. And I will explain to you and answer any of your questions. You're always welcome to call me. Anybody who subscribes to my LEAPS and leveraged ETF list, I will send you a free 5-hour course on AIM investing. It's a $500 value. And anybody subscribed to my LEAPS and leveraged ETFs will get a free newsletter subscription, $150 value for free. I
Right.
urge you to consider AIM investing as the way to keep you from being a Walmart greeter in 30 or 40 years. There's too many sad stories of people who can't, live on whatever meager savings they have, and they have to keep working. And I don't want you to be in that position. Plus,
Right. And who knows, in 30 years, there may not be greeters. It'll be a robot.
exactly, that's what you have to worry about. There's so many ways artificial intelligence could take away your job. So this is something that artificial intelligence can never take away. You can always do this. It's worked for 20 years with LEAPS, and it will work for the next 200 years with LEAPS and leveraged ETFs. I want
Yes,
you to have a good life out there, and I'm going to give it to you.
that's right. And that's why I'm glad that we do this every week so that we can share these little tidbits with
Sure.
people. The holidays are coming and we've got the government shutdown. There's a lot of things that are out there affecting people. When you were working on your list here over the last few days, is there like somebody that's looking good right now? People should
Oh,
keep an eye
yes.
out.
I just this morning before this broadcast, I have a jet pilot guy who flies medical planes, picks up the liver or kidney for you if you need it, and takes patients to exotic hospitals in a jet. And he called me up this morning. We figured out a new way to work AIM called hybrid AIM. And he made 25,000 this morning. And yesterday he made another 25,000. In the
Wow.
last 2 months or so, he's had 20 or 30 hybrid cells. That's well over 300,000 in profits on it. And I would love to explain that to you, but I don't have time today. Maybe I can talk about that more in a future broadcast. But there's so
Absolutely.
many ways AIM can help you, and you really need to learn about it. None of the established people will do this for you. You won't ever find a stock brokerage firm that will ever recommend you buy an option. And the reason you want options is because they have tremendous high-low differences. I've seen options go up more than 50% in one day when something big happened. I had a guy, my partner, he had an option on Qualcomm that went up like 53% in one day because they had just won a lawsuit against Microsoft. And it didn't hurt Microsoft, I can tell you, but it helped
Right.
Qualcomm. So
Mhm.
I'd love to send you a lot of free information. Again, write me at jeff@jjjinvesting.biz, and you'll be on your way and you'll be glad you did it.
That's right. Or pick up the phone and give Jeff a call yourself. He's happy to talk to you about all of this and put you on
Right.
the right path.
The worst enemy of investors is emotion. And
Mhm.
AIM investing is completely scientific. It gives you the buy and sell and the number of shares or contracts to buy or sell every time. You put them in advance, and then you will never miss them. And you don't have to feel any emotion because it's all logical.
That's right. And knowing when that happens, your system makes it so easy and simplifies
Right.
this
It's just
process. So
it's a simple one-page spreadsheet. No Greeks, no fancy math. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division is all you need to know. So you and a little cheapy calculator can do everything AIM requires you to do. Commissions are free on leveraged ETFs. You never pay a nickel to trade, and they're very low on options, and they're only 65 cents a contract. So if you sell 5 contracts for a $10,000 profit, you paid about $3 or $4 in commissions. That's well worth it.
it is, and you're not going to find that anywhere else, or
So,
depending on
you
who you
know,
work with. So
right, yeah, and I always give you the list of the ones to choose from. You can always call me when you're a client, and we can talk about if you want to buy more right now, which are the best ones to do, and I'll walk you through Yahoo Finance and tell you why I like one or don't like one, and take advantage of my expertise. I've devoted most of my adult life to this, and I want to share that knowledge with you and get you up to speed quickly.
and Yahoo Finance has been around for many years, since Yahoo started. So is it just the way it's laid out? Is just more user friendly? Why do you prefer
It's
that?
very user friendly, and I can find charts on individual leaps. So say Apple is trading at $255. I want to I AIM wants you to buy an option slightly in the money. So I would immediately go to Yahoo Finance and look at the strike 250 AIM option for January 21st, 2028. I would go to the chart, and I would look at how that option has performed since it was issued roughly in September. And I could also look at the 27 one to see how a similar option did for a whole year last year, because they'll repeat themselves, they'll be very similar. And my buddy has already probably had 20 hybrid cells on the 28 options already. We just sold Micron Technology, Advanced Micro Devices today, SPY. There's many good indexes that you can buy that have leaps, like SPY, TQQQ, and others. I have a wealth of free information out there, and I would urge you to sign up with me for AIM management. Like I said, under 100,000, it's only going to cost you $1,500 a year. You'll learn all the fine tricks on AIM investing, and then you'll be able to go off on your own. And the best advantage is not only can you teach yourself, you can teach your children and grandchildren, because I only see life getting harder. I see at least 20% of the jobs, especially entry-level jobs, being replaced by artificial intelligence, not by human beings. And so it's going to be a tougher economic future for your children and grandchildren. Give them all the possibilities of success independently of a job, and AIM investing and investing in general is the best way to do that.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. Retirement is the long game. We can't play about our future or our finances. Let's put ourselves in the right position.
Tired of old school cable internet slowing you down? Let Tech Savvy Sales and Marketing Group help you make the switch. We are a leading provider of internet, home automation, security, and TV services, offering high-speed solutions tailored to your needs. Thanks to partnerships with top providers like AT&T Fiber, Vivint, Kinetic Windstream, Brightspeed Fiber, and DirecTV, we can connect you with amazing deals. For example, switching from Spectrum Cable to AT&T Fiber can boost your upload speeds by up to 25 times, providing plenty of bandwidth for smart home devices, streaming, gaming, and work. No more lag or slowing down. Our highly trained professionals offer free personal consultations, and unlike other providers, we go above and beyond with direct communication and doorstep visits to find the best solution, tailored to your exact needs. Call us today to schedule your free consultation or visit our website for more information on our services.